Hello there, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, and welcome to a new walkthrough for this channel, and it is going to be a game by id Software. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Doom 3, the third game in the Doom franchise, the lesser talked about game in the Doom franchise, because it's very dark, and by that I mean it has got a lot of shadows in it. And, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, other than that, I think that this is a pretty good action horror game. So this is gonna be probably a complete walkthrough. I'm gonna try and go after as many kills as I can remember, hopefully as many secrets as possible. And before we actually get started, we are going to hover over our little text bar here that says new game. And we have 4 different difficulties we can choose from here. So starting off, we have recruit difficulty, where you take like 70% enemy damage. In Marine difficulty, it's jacked up to 90%. I'm not really sure why it's not 100%, because that would make more sense to me. Because Marine is meant to be the normal difficulty, but it's really not all that difficult. Veteran difficulty is the hard mode, where you take 170% base damage, and I believe they have a lot more nastier enemy spawns. And Nightmare difficulty, you take 350% base damage, so pretty much everything kills you in one hit. They remove all of the health kits, and your health will constantly degenerate to 25. You do have access to something that helps you regenerate your health, but again, it's only temporary, and the way it works is we're not really going to get that item for a long time, so it's best that I just hold off explaining what on earth that does until we actually acquire it. So we're just going to be doing the game on Veteran difficulty. I was tempted to do it on Nightmare mode, but I've only completed the game on that difficulty once, and I used a lot of quick saves because, yeah, the fact that pretty much anything can essentially kill you in one hit means you need to really understand how the enemies of this game work, and it gets kind of spooky for the wrong reasons. So let us begin on hard difficulty.
The Union Aerospace Corporation is the largest corporate entity in existence. Originally focused on weapon and defense contracts, new ventures have expanded into biological research, space exploration, and other scientific endeavors. With unlimited funds and the ability to engage in research outside of moral and legal obligations, the UAC controls the most advanced technology ever conceived.
Incoming transport detected.
Mars approach, Dark Star with you, 07063, passing through 38000.
Roger, Dark Star. Descend to 2000, set speed, contact ground on 26972.
Roger that, tower.
We have them on radar, sir. They'll be landing in a few moments.
Excellent. See that Counselor Swan is sent directly to me.
Yes, sir.
Tower, Dark Star on final.
We've got you, Dark Star. You are set for lockdown. Welcome back.
I can't believe it's come to this. I didn't want to come here.
He left you no choice.
True, but this is the last time. I'm tired of running damage control every time he makes a mess.
Right. You're the control. And if that fails, I'm the damage.
If that's what it takes, the Kruger is going to start doing things our way.
You say, Counselor.
Alright, so straight off of the bat, you can probably tell that we've abandoned the text scrolls of the olden days, and now we have actual cutscenes to work with. But I think this is the only Doom game, the only official Doom game in the lineup that actually does this. We can see the spaceship we arrived on is floating there. It looks very pretty. And we also got our fists, which we can punch with! So to quickly cover the controls, you can move around. just like so. It's pretty much a basic first-person shooter. You can jump, you can crouch. If you hold down shift, you can sprint, which is indicated by the little meter at the bottom left of the screen, where it says next to Mars City Hangar. the meter refills pretty quickly, but you will find yourself sprinting a lot if you just want to get to places, but you're kind of meant to take the game a little bit slowly. But, punch. You can interact with computer panels once you run up to them, which is pretty cool. You can see what's inbound, which was us, including a whole bunch of containers, and what's going outbound. There's definitely going to be a lot more in the way of interesting computer monitors compared to basic cargo shipping details. We also have NPCs which we could talk to.
Welcome to Mars. All new arrivals need to check in at reception.
And if you want to get further dialogue from them,
If you're looking for someone to help you, just head to reception.
you click on them using mouse 1, which is also, of course, incidentally, your firing button. This game also has an interactable physics engine because this was released around the time where that was considered a cool thing, so you could move objects around by running into them. There's no use key to pick them up. The physics in this game are incredibly underutilized, and I will explain why that is in a little bit, but for now, we should just get a move on with the actual game.
To expedite your processing, please proceed.
And this guy seems pretty optimistic about the situation, so let's enter the scanner.
Welcome to Mars, Marine. I'm gonna need you to step on one of those red squares on the floor for a bioscan. This'll only take a second. Okay, let me get this started. You're gonna need to hold still. Moving around only makes the test take longer. Alright, bioscan looks good. You're cleared for entry.
I would like to point out that that is an absolute lie, and it does not matter if you run around or not inside the bioscanner. One thing I did actually forget to mention about the controls is that you can also zoom, and this should give you a general idea of what it's like to play the BFG edition of Doom 3. Obviously, we're just playing the original, and I feel it's important to point out that the original version of the game does not have a 1920 by 1080 resolution, and this is something you could set in the configuration file. I think that's a thing you could do with a lot of id Software games. Anyway, computer terminals! You can watch little videos now and then. You can also find video discs, which you can add to your personal data assistant, which we do not have, but that will also allow you to download this file. We will be receiving our personal data assistant by walking through these doors.
Welcome to Mars. First time? You can just leave your bag there. I'll have it sent up your quarters. Okay, there's a few things we need to take care of first. This is your personal data assistant. You'll need this to access all secure areas. If you get clearance for any security zones, it'll download directly. It's important, so don't lose it. I see here that Sergeant Kelly has requested your immediate attention. Head directly to Marine Command. It's just that way. Follow the signs.
And the personal data assistant the game will immediately shove in your face is your little data collection tool which you can use to download a whole bunch of things, or listen to audio logs, or just, you know, get a general sense of what you're supposed to do. So in this case, we have to perform all of our duties in a military manner. And that seems pretty simple. Also, you can see my name as player, because I don't really know how to change that. I thought that was only a multiplayer only option, but no. My name is player, and that's going to be the name that defines me. So, this tab allows us to read emails that we get from other people, such as Sergeant Kelly, who wants us to not waste any time. So we will get right on that. And also video discs. We actually already have one installed, but if you're looking for other video discs, then you can see it's these incredibly bulky, impractical looking things right here, which you can find all across the base. And you know, I'm just gonna run back and download this little information right here. I'm not sure if I'm really gonna read any of these in any actual recording, but I feel as though, just for the sake of completion, we should just collect as many as possible. Now, the PDA, you can actually... I feel as though this is something that is worth explaining once we find another one, but you can also find other people's PDAs, but first of all, we have to get through this exposition right here, I'm sorry.
I'm here because there seems to be some very serious problems.
Oh, really? Do I need to remind you of the groundbreaking work that we're doing here?
No, but I've been authorized by the board to look at everything.
The board authorized you? The board doesn't know the first thing about science. All they want is something to make them more money, some product. Don't worry, they'll get their product.
After how many accidents? Tell me, Dr. Betruger, why are so many workers spooked, complaining, requesting transfers off Mars?
They simply can't handle life here. They're exhausted and overworked. If I had a larger, more competent staff and bigger budget, even Even these few accidents could have been avoided.
I'm afraid you'll get nothing more until my report is filed with the board. I will need full access, Dr. Petruga, Delta included. I won't have any difficulties doing that, will I?
Only if you get lost, Swan. Just stay out of my way. Amazing things will happen here soon. You just wait.
Let's go.
Ah, those stupid bureaucrats, always getting in the way of the progress of science for the betterment of mankind on Mars. And we still haven't figured out how to bloody breathe in this place without building these ultra creepy looking facilities, but you know how it is. Anyway, back to the point I was making. The PDA, you can find other people's PDAs, you automatically download them to your own, and that does interesting things, because you could listen to people's audio logs, you could read their emails, you're basically just intruding on their personal life, and it's kind of rude. But before we actually find any other PDAs, we have a working beer! Yes! And we can display the third-person animations which lag behind you as you punch. So, you know, that's always a neat option. But the bathroom doesn't just have a working mirror, it also has a little corner over here where you can listen to some very delightful sounds. Honestly, that's not really all that ominous. We'll probably see some stranger things around here. Take a sharp right over here and we can enter the kitchen where we can pick up our first PDA that I was referred to. And I'm just gonna duck into this corner over here so I don't have to listen to the television talking. But we pick up a Pda of Adam Burn, who has an audio log of a maintenance update. That's super exciting. And also we can read his email. Unfortunately, he's not the kind of guy that keeps track of his PDAs very well, apparently. And then he's being volunteered to work in the Delta Labs, which must be a really exciting prospect. But the thing about those PDAs is that if you pick them up, you want to look through some of their audio logs or their emails, because there are storage cabinets all over the base that allow you to open them up with some codes that they might hide inside. And most of them are contained in emails, but some of them are in audio logs. I'll probably demonstrate at least one of the audio logs if I find anything remotely interesting in them whatsoever. Anyway, this news broadcast, by the way, this is like a 5-minute news broadcast that you could stand around and watch. I'm not going to do that, however, because I have very important arcade games to play, such as
Super Turbo Turkey Puncher 3.
Super Turbo Turkey Puncher 3. I'm going to be here for a while, guys. So, if you happen to be a completely normal individual like me who is absolutely mesmerized by the prospect of punching turkeys to death, once you hit 25,000 points, I should say, you get a personal email in your PDA, so let's go check that out. And it's from the Human Resource Coordinator. Congratulations! You set a new high score in Super Turbo Turkey Puncher 3! Your parents can rest easier knowing that they have raised another shining example of humanity. Due to the incredible amount of time you wasted punching poor defenseless turkeys, your vacation time has been docked 2 days. Have a nice day. Yeah, I'd say that was a fairly innocuous activity, but at least we can relieve ourselves knowing that we have some beautiful magazines to look at with more Easter eggs, such as that one, which include Game Hog, with the Doom Guy's face on it, and Booty, which I believe has, I think it's a hunter from Quake 3. I don't really play Quake 3, I just looked that up for scientific reasons purely. I can punch some cans around here. But we should probably get a move on. We have Adam Burn's PDA in tow, so really the next thing we have to do is just head straight for Marine Command, although I might diverge off of the beaten path, just to check out a couple more interesting things.
Management Office
Report to
4
Sergeant
Alpha.
Kelly ASAP. He's in Command HQ.
So, Sergeant Holmes here suggests I do that, but instead I'm going to go this way because there is one little incident which you can peek in on. His face seems to be missing for the most part, but it's okay because they have sedated him, so there's probably a medical cure for his condition somewhere around here. But there is one NPC in particular that I want to talk to. It's this guy, E. Grafton.
Welcome to the unit. I'll see you around.
And he's a pretty cool guy. But first of all, we're going to go to combat preparation before we finally head to Marine Command. I'm sorry if I'm delaying this a lot, but there is a video disc over here which we can acquire. And this one is, this one's like fairly missable, because if you don't get it at this level, then you can't possibly get it later, to my understanding. This video disc is about the Series 3 plasma gun, and you can see there's actually a plasma rifle in speaking right there. Unfortunately, we cannot pick it up. I mean, if we really wanted to, then we could just no-clip through the wall and pick all of those items up, because those are actual collectibles, including the health kits and the armor. But since we're not going to be playing with cheats, we're just going to wave goodbye to that dude who's ignoring us. And get a move on to Marine HQ, where we can meet Sergeant Kelly. We can't pick up that Gatling gun, unfortunately, so no guns for now.
Took your sweet time, Marine? Now, here's the situation. Another member of the science team's gone missing. Since you're the ranking FNG, you get to find him. I want you to check out the old decommissioned comm facility. We heard he might be heading that way. The only way there is through the service passage under Mars City. I've programmed this sentry to guide you to the maintenance elevator. I hope you follow the sentry better than you've followed orders so far. You can pick up some gear at the security checkpoint at the bottom of the elevator. Oh, and when you find him, just bring him back. Do not hurt him. Now move out.
Ah, Sarge. Such a gruff individual. But at least I have a window to comfort me, where we can look at all the beautiful sights outdoors. If you talk to any of these NPCs, they just tell you to get a move on. But the purpose of this sentry bot being here is just to say, dude, seriously, let me just guide you with a little arrow where you need to go. But if you're like me and you already understand where we have to go, then I'm not going to waste time with that at all. I'm going to head straight for the exit of this level. But first, there's always a but first in this case, because there are a lot of Easter eggs that you can find in just level 1. We're going to hover over this guy's shoulder for a while, and just sort of read what he types for a bit. I must confess, I discovered this accidentally during one of my playthroughs of this game, and I laughed my ass off as soon as I saw him type that. And that's the final Easter egg of this level. No actual secrets where we get certain items, unless you count, like, the storage cabinets. This is the cabinet I was referring to earlier. The game will give you a tip flashing on screen right now, that if you listen to Mr. Benej's audio log, at the very end of his boring status report, he has a code, and the code is 396 for cabinet 001, and we can pick up some bullets. So I guess that might technically be a secret, if you consider going out of the way for the storage cabinets there a secret in the first place. As I said, I'm not really going to listen to any audio logs unless I find one really interesting, because for the most part they are just maintenance status reports, or about the health and safety hazards of the area, or really just ghost stories. You can sort of get invested into it if you really want to pay attention to the story, but I don't know, apart from the cutscenes, I'm probably not going to explore too much in this playthrough, but that is the end of the very first level, so let us click to exit Mars City.